When the courtroom lights dimmed, nobody could believe it. The sparkle in Frank Caprio's eyes was something no one had seen in his 20-year career as a judge. At that moment, everyone in the courtroom held their breath, because standing before them wasn't just a judge. In front of them was a man who refused to lose his humanity despite all the power the system gave him. James Wilson, 67 years old, Vietnam veteran, opened the courtroom door with trembling hands, the medals on his chest the only reminder of days gone by. 3 pieces of metal, 3 war wounds, a lifetime of service. But what he didn't know yet was that today, the judge sitting across from him would give him back not just justice, but his lost honor. When Frank opened the file, it looked like just another routine day. Theft charge, local grocery store, $5 sandwich. Simple, clear, open, and shut case. But when he looked deeper into James's file, the documents told him a different story. Purple Heart Medal, honorable discharge papers, and 0 income records for the last 3 years. 0. Nothing. Emptiness. "Mr. Wilson," Frank said in a calm voice, his voice echoing off the courtroom walls through the sound system. "What didn't you eat this morning?" James looked up. Their eyes met. A judge, a veteran. One had power, the other only had pride. There was shame in his eyes, but also dignity, a soldier's dignity, that upright posture that never begs, never bends, even when desperate. "Your Honor, I hadn't eaten anything for 2 days." There was a stir in the room. The prosecutor dropped his pen. Court clerk Sarah had worked with Frank for 15 years and couldn't remember such silence. Heavy, thick, suffocating silence, as if time itself had stopped. This is exactly when everything changed. Frank Caprio's expression shifted. In his 25-year career as a judge, he'd seen thousands of cases, murderers, thieves, con artists. But the pain in James's eyes was different. This wasn't ordinary hunger. This was the pain of a hero being forgotten. This was the pain of a veteran going hungry in his own country after fighting for it. "Mr. Wilson," Frank's voice trembled, almost imperceptibly, but it was there. "Did you fight for your country?" "Yes, sir. Vietnam, 1968 to 1970, 2nd Infantry Division." "How many medals do you have?" "3, Your Honor. Purple Heart, Bronze Star, and the Medal of Valor." Frank closed the file. He clasped his hands together, took a deep breath. There were 100 people in the courtroom, but at that moment there were only 2 men. One a judge, the other a veteran. One represented the system, the other had fed the system. And now the system had forgotten him. But what was truly shocking was the truth Frank learned at that moment. Store owner Michael Chen had given James a chance before calling the police. "Pay for the sandwich and go," he'd said politely. But James didn't have a single cent in his wallet. And because of that soldier's pride, that upright stance, he refused to ask for help. "I'm not a beggar," James said in the courtroom, his voice broken but so determined that the words came out one by one, weighted, meaningful from his lips. "I'm a soldier. Soldiers don't steal. Soldiers don't beg. Soldiers endure." But he couldn't endure. 2 days? No food. His stomach hurt so much his thinking got blurry. And at that moment, that sandwich in the store window became a survival instinct. You haven't seen the biggest surprise yet. Frank stood up, straightened his robe, and stepped down from the judge's podium. Footsteps, echoing, determined. He walked, slowly at first, then faster, to the middle of the courtroom. This was against procedure. This had never been seen before. Judges sit on their podiums, defendants stand before them. But Frank Caprio was about to break all the rules that day. "Mr. Wilson," Frank said, no longer from the podium but standing right next to James, his eyes locked on the old veteran's eyes. "Please stand up." James was surprised, scared too. His legs were shaking, maybe from hunger, Maybe from the weight of this moment, maybe both. Slowly, very slowly, he stood up. His back was still straight. A soldier, despite everything. Frank raised his hand, brought it to his forehead. "Military salute." "A military salute," Frank said, his voice full, the words barely coming out of his mouth. "To a veteran, to a hero, to a man who, while I'm standing in this courtroom right now, was in the jungles, putting his life on the line. For my freedom, for your freedom, for everyone's freedom." The courtroom froze. A judge in a courtroom was saluting a defendant. This was perhaps the first time in legal history. Nobody moved, nobody breathed. Time truly stopped. Tears began streaming down James's face. With trembling hands, he saluted back. To the judge. Two men at that moment weren't judge and defendant. They were both just Americans, both just human beings, both under the same flag. Someone in the room started clapping, then another, then another. Standing ovation, loud, passionate, emotional. Sarah was crying. The prosecutor was crying. The security guard was crying. Everyone was crying. Frank lowered his salute. But he didn't move away from James. "Wait a minute, don't miss this detail." Frank pulled out his wallet. But this time he wasn't just going to give money. What he was about to do was much more than that. Much deeper, much more meaningful, much more human. "Mr. Wilson, the theft charge is dismissed." Frank's voice was no longer a judge's voice. It was a human being speaking to another human being. Dismissed because hunger is not a crime. Dismissed because survival is not theft. And dismissed because a man who put his life on the line for his country can never, ever be guilty. Never. Applause erupted in the room again. But Frank stopped it with his hand. He wasn't finished yet. "But we're not done yet," he said. From his wallet, he pulled out $500. 5 $100 bills. His own money. Not from the court budget, not from the system, from his own pocket. "This is a very, very small payment for the service you gave to your country, Mr. Wilson. And this," he pulled out a business card, "is the number for my Veterans Affairs office. If you call tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we'll find you shelter, food, and a job. I promise. Frank Caprio's word of honor." You won't believe this, but James didn't take the money. He pulled his hand back. Still that pride, still that military discipline. "Your Honor, I don't want charity. I'm not a beggar. I want to work. I want to serve. I need a job, not charity." Now you're seeing nothing. Frank smiled. That smile wasn't a judge's smile. It was a human being's smile of deep, deep respect for another human being's dignity. "Mr. Wilson, this isn't charity. This is what the United States of America owes you. This country owes you. I owe you. We all owe you. And tomorrow I'm going to offer you a job, a solid job, decent pay, health insurance. But tonight, please, please rent yourself a room, take a hot shower, eat a hot meal, and sleep the way a veteran deserves to sleep. Tomorrow, a new life begins." James took the money. His hands were still shaking, but this time, from gratitude, from shock, from disbelief. He held the money, looked at it, then looked at Frank. "Your Honor, how can I? Don't thank me, just live, just survive, just be happy. That's enough. That's more than enough." An elderly man sitting in the back of the courtroom stood up. He had the same medals on his chest. He was also a Vietnam veteran. White hair, wrinkled face, but upright posture. "Judge Caprio," the old man said, his voice strong. "I was like James 20 years ago, homeless, hungry, alone, but nobody helped me. Nobody. After what I saw today, I want to help too. James, if you'll accept, you can stay at my house, free, for as long as you want." Then a young man stood up. "I own a grocery store 2 blocks away. James, starting tomorrow you can get free food from me every day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever you want." Then a middle-aged woman. "I'm a realtor. I can find James a free apartment for at least 6 months. Furnished, heated, everything included. Then someone else, then someone else, then someone else. Just like dominoes, when one fell, the next, then all of them. 10 people stood up, 20 people, 50 people, everyone in the courtroom. Frank Caprio hadn't just solved a case that day. He had awakened a community, set a city in motion, reminded a nation. Don't forget our veterans. But after the cameras turned off, nobody knew what happened in Frank's office. He sat down at his desk, put his head in his hands, and quietly, without making a sound, his shoulders shaking, he cried. 30 minutes, silently, alone. Sarah knocked on the door, came in. Frank was still crying. "Judge, are you okay?" Frank looked up. His eyes were bright red. "Sarah, today I saw a man, 67 years old, fought for his country, got wounded, earned medals, served heroically. And that man got labeled a thief for a $5 sandwich. $5. What kind of justice system is this? What kind of country? What kind of society are we?" "But you helped him." "Helping isn't enough, Sarah. Never enough. The system has to change. How many Jameses are out there? How many veterans on the streets, hungry, alone, forgotten? 10,000? 100,000? This is unacceptable. I can't accept it." That day, Frank Caprio made a decision. Paper, pen, he wrote a letter. To the Pentagon, to the Department of Defense, to Veterans Affairs, to the mayor, to the governor. Justice Program for Veterans. The title was simple, but the vision was big. Every month, free legal aid for veterans who came to his court. Shelter assistance, psychological support, job placement assistance, medical care coordination. Everything. Free. Unconditional. "Because we owe them," he wrote at the end of the letter. "Because they gave us their lives. At least we can give them a chance, a second chance, a third chance, however many chances it takes." The next day, James called at 9 a.m. Frank's assistant connected him to 3 things: a shelter, temporary, for 2 weeks, a meal program, 3 meals a day, and a job interview. The job interview was at the city's largest construction company. The owner was a retired Marine. "Mr. Wilson," the company owner said, "I want to make you an offer. Security chief, $4,000 a month, health insurance, dental insurance, retirement plan. Start tomorrow." James couldn't believe it. "But I'm 67 years old. Nobody hires someone who's 67. "Mr. Wilson, I'm hiring a 67-year-old Vietnam veteran. At this company, character matters, not age. And Judge Caprio told me about your character. Do you accept?" "I accept. I accept. Of course. Thank you. Thank you so much." 3 months later. When Frank entered the courtroom, he saw James sitting in the first row. Clean suit, straight tie, polished shoes, haircut, beard shaved. But most importantly, that light had returned to his eyes. Hope, peace, honor. "Your Honor," James said, standing up, "I came to thank you, but not just for the job, not just for the food, not just for the shelter, for reminding me I'm human, for showing me I'm still valuable, for giving me hope. I can't find the words." Frank smiled. A big smile. "Mr. Wilson, you never stopped being human. You were never worthless. You were never hopeless. The system just forgot you. I just reminded them, that's all. Just reminded them." "No, Judge," James approached, extended his hand, shook Frank's hand firmly. "You gave me my life back, gave me a second chance, and I won't waste this chance, I promise." Everyone had learned the truth, but the real shock came 6 months later. James had been saving part of his salary. Every week, $100. 6 months, 24 weeks, $2,400. And with this money, he founded the James Wilson Veterans Aid Fund. Every month, he distributed food to veterans living on the streets, gave blankets, found jobs, gave life. "Frank Caprio helped me," James said in a local TV interview. "Now it's my turn to help my brothers. because no veteran should die on the streets. No veteran should go hungry. No veteran should be forgotten. The fund grew rapidly. First month, they helped 3 veterans. Second month, 10. Third month, 25. Sixth month, 100. A year later, 200. Local businesses started donating. Grocery stores, restaurants, hotels. Volunteers increased. And within a year, the number of homeless veterans in the city decreased by 60%. 60%. One day, a letter arrived at Frank Caprio's office from the Pentagon. Official, stern, heavy. The Department of Defense logo on top. When Frank opened the envelope and read what was inside, he couldn't believe his eyes. They wanted to expand the justice program for veterans nationwide. 50 states, 10,000 courts, millions of veterans. Frank's decision in a small courtroom had turned into a national movement. Because you showed, the Secretary of Defense wrote at the end of the letter, that justice isn't just about punishment. Justice is remembering. Justice is giving honor. Justice is humanity. A year later, James came back to the courtroom. This time not as a defendant, as a jury member. "Your Honor," James said, taking his oath, his right hand over his heart. "A year ago I was sitting in that chair, hungry, desperate, forgotten. Today I'm here to deliver justice to others. And I promise you, like you, I'll see not the laws, but the people. I'll see hearts, I'll see stories. Because behind every file there's a human being, and every human being deserves a chance." Frank, on his way home that evening, saw James on the street. But he wasn't alone. 5 more veterans were with him. He was buying them all food, listening to them all, helping them all. The domino effect continued. "James," Frank called out. James turned, smiled, wide, genuine. "Judge Caprio, meet my brothers. I was telling them your story, the $5 sandwich story." Frank approached, shook everyone's hand. In each one's eyes was the same story: desperation, loneliness, being forgotten. But now, thanks to James, there was also hope. "Gentlemen," Frank said, "you are this country's heroes, and a hero should never be forgotten. Never." Years later, when Frank Caprio retired, the most special guest at the ceremony was James Wilson. He was 72 now, but still working, as a volunteer, as president of the foundation helping veterans. "Judge Caprio," James said in his speech, in front of thousands of people. "5 years ago I entered this courtroom as a thief, $5 sandwich. Today I'm leaving as a man who saved 200 veterans' lives. And all of it, thanks to one man's, your compassion. One man's courage. One man's courage to challenge the system." When they thought it was over, just as Frank was stepping down from the podium, a young man stepped forward. He was in military uniform, fresh graduate. "Judge Caprio," the young soldier said, "I'm James Wilson's grandson, Michael. My grandfather tells me your story every day. And I decided to wear this uniform because my grandfather taught me that service is honorable. But you also taught me that real honor is helping the weak when you're strong. I want to be that kind of person too." Frank, at that moment, understood the meaning of his 25-year career. His job wasn't just to enforce laws, it was to protect humanity, restore honor, spread hope, multiply love. The voice on his phone was familiar, but this time it wasn't James calling. It was the foundation coordinator. "Judge Caprio, this month we got our 100th veteran employed. James wants to start a scholarship program in your name for veterans' children. Hope Scholarship. Every year, sending 10 veterans' children to college. Full scholarship, everything included. This isn't a judge's story. This is a human being's story. And this story repeats every day, worldwide, in every Frank Caprio, every James Wilson, every person who deserves a second chance. Because remember, justice isn't just punishment. Justice is reaching out. Justice is remembering. Justice is love. Justice is humanity. Frank Caprio made his choice. James Wilson changed his life. And the world became a little better place. Now it's your turn. What will you choose?